Imagine on a Saturday afternoon you decide to visit the local orphanage, taking with you lovingly packed boxes of gifts, and when you enter the recreation room, you come across a little boy with a mischievous smile and bright eyes just like your husband. Layla walks through the halls of the orphanage, the scent of old wood and disinfectant filling the air. Her heart is warmed by the anticipation of seeing the children, the laughter and smiles that always greet her. When she walks through the entrance gate, she is immediately surrounded by excited children, their eyes shining with anticipation of the gifts she brings. She distributes the gifts with care, watching each reaction with a tender smile. For Layla, these moments are precious. She sees in each child the hope and joy that brings meaning to their life. As the children unwrap their gifts, she walks around the room, ensuring that each of them receives their share of attention and love. Suddenly, her gaze is caught by a boy in the corner of the room. He sits alone, hugging a worn-out toy car. Something about him makes her stop. His disheveled brown hair, the thoughtful expression on his young face. Layla feels a knot form in her stomach. The boy looks so much like her husband, Nathan, that it's as if she's seeing a younger version of him. She approaches slowly, feeling a mix of curiosity and excitement. Inga. What's her name? The boy looks up, and she is struck by the intensity of his gaze. My name is Connor, he replies in a soft voice. Layla feels an instant connection with Connor. Something about him awakens in her a protective instinct, a need to know him better. Do you like cars? As she asks, pointing to the toy in his hands. Connor nods, a faint smile appearing on her lips. That's my favorite, he says, gripping the cart more firmly. Sitting next to Connor, Layla begins to talk to him, discovering little fragments of her life. Every word he says, every expression that crosses her face, makes her think of Nathan. There's something familiar about Connor, something that touches her heart deeply. She is struck by the boy's resemblance to her husband, Nathan. Later, back home, Layla can't get Connor out of her mind. Every detail of his face, every nuance of his smile, reminds her of Nathan. Determined to understand more about this strange familiarity, she starts going through old photo albums. The yellowing pages bring back cherished memories, but it's one specific photo that gives her pause. It's an image of Nathan as a child, with the same playful smile and piercing blue eyes. Layla holds the photo with shaking hands, the resemblance between Nathan and Connor now undeniable. A wave of emotions hits her, surprise, nostalgia, and a deep sense of connection. She takes the photo to the living room, waiting for Nathan to get home from work. When he finally enters, she shows him the photo, explaining about Connor and the striking resemblance. Nathan looks at the photo, then listens intently as Layla talks about Connor. He frowns, visibly surprised by the story. It's incredible, he says, holding the photo between his fingers. He really looks like me when I was a kid. Layla can't get the thoughts of Connor out of her mind. The resemblance between the boy and Nathan is disturbing and fascinating at the same time. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Connor's playful smile and blue eyes, so similar to her husband's. An idea begins to form in her mind, an idea that grows into an obsession. Connor could be Nathan's illegitimate son. Doubt gnaws at Layla, disturbing her sleep and her peace of mind. She spends days going through photo albums, comparing every detail, every expression. Nathan, noticing Layla's agitation, tries to comfort her, but she avoids sharing her deepest thoughts. She needs answers, but fears what she might discover. Determined to understand the truth, Layla decides to visit the orphanage again. She prepares herself with a mix of anxiety and nervousness, her heart pounding as she walks through the familiar entrance gate. The children run to greet her, but her eyes are fixed on a specific face. Connor is sitting in the corner of the room, drawing on a piece of paper. Layla watches from afar, her gaze attentive to every movement. He rubs his chin in concentration, a habit so identical to Nathan's that it makes Layla's heart race even faster. She feels a knot forming in her stomach, certainty growing inside her. Approaching slowly, Layla kneels beside Connor. Hi, Connor, she says softly. He looks up and smiles, a smile that melts her uncertainties and fills her with tenderness. Layla. Look what I'm drawing. He shows the paper, and Layla feigns interest, even though her mind is in turmoil. As they talk, Layla observes every detail, every nuance of Connor's mannerisms. He tilts his head in the way Nathan does when he's curious, bites his bottom lip in concentration, just like Nathan. The evidence accumulates in her mind, each small similarity strengthening her suspicions. Layla's obsession grows by the minute. She tries to subtly extract information from Connor, asking about his parents and history. Connor, with the innocence of a child, answers what he can, but his answers are vague and insufficient to satisfy Layla's seething mind. Back home, Layla feels more restless than ever. She sits with Nathan, trying to hide her anxiety. Nathan, she begins, voice shaking. Have you ever wondered about the past? About people we know, stories we don't know. Nathan looks at her with a confused but kind expression. What do you mean, Layla? She hesitates, struggling to find the right words. I've been thinking about Connor. He looks so much like you did when you were a kid. The eyes, the smile, even the mannerisms. Don't you think that's strange? Nathan frowns thoughtfully. I noticed a similarity, yes. But, Layla, it can't be more than a coincidence. But for Layla, it's not that simple. Obsession consumes her thoughts, doubt gnawing at her heart. She spends hours researching, trying to find clues that can confirm or refute her suspicions. Every discovery, every little detail, seems to point to the same conclusion. During her visits to the orphanage, Layla gets closer and closer to Connor. She watches him carefully, looking for more signs, more evidence. The way he rubs his chin, the way he laughs, it all reminds her of Nathan. The emotional connection she feels with Connor grows, fueled by her obsession. Layla begins to discreetly investigate, talking to the orphanage staff, trying to find out more about Connor's origins. Every evasive answer, every omitted detail, only increases her distrust. She feels like she's on a mission, a desperate search for the truth. Layla can't shake the feeling of restlessness that has engulfed her since she met Connor. Every time she visits the orphanage, her mind fills with questions and her heart tightens with doubt. At home, she watches Nathan more closely, looking for signs that could confirm or dispel her suspicions. One night, while watching TV, she notices a small birthmark on Nathan's wrist, something she had never brought to her attention before. Her heart beats faster when she remembers that, during one of her visits to the orphanage, she saw the same mark on Connor's wrist. The coincidence is too much to ignore. Layla feels a mix of panic and determination. She needs answers, and knows she can't continue living with this uncertainty. The next day, Layla looks for her best friend, Christina. They meet in a cozy cafe, and Christina immediately realizes something is wrong. Layla, what's going on? You look distraught, Christina says, concern in her eyes. Layla takes a deep breath, feeling the words catch in her throat. Christina, I need to talk to you about something very serious. It's about Nathan, a boy in the orphanage. Christina leans forward, listening intently. Layla tells everything, from the first time she saw Connor to the growing obsession that took hold of her. She talks about the physical resemblance, the identical mannerisms, and finally the birthmark. Christina listens in silence, her expression serious. Layla, this is very serious. Have you spoken to Nathan about your suspicions? Asks Christina. Layla shakes her head, tears welling in her eyes. I can't, Christina. I'm afraid of what this could mean for us. What if it's true? What if Connor is really Nathan's son? Christina holds Layla's hand, offering comfort. I understand. But you need answers. And the only way to know the truth is to take a DNA test. We can do this discreetly. I'll help you. Encouraged by Christina's determination, Layla decides to go ahead with the plan. They begin to organize everything so they can collect DNA samples from Connor and Nathan without arousing suspicion. Layla feels a mix of fear and hope. The prospect of discovering the truth is frightening, but she knows she can't continue living with this doubt. During her visits to the orphanage, Layla tries to act normal, but her heart is in turmoil. She spends more time with Connor, watching him even more closely. In a moment of distraction, she manages to discreetly collect a sample of his hair. Her fingers tremble as she puts the sample away in a small envelope. Back home, Layla faces the challenge of collecting a sample from Nathan without him noticing. She waits for an opportune moment, when he is sound asleep, and carefully picks up a lock of hair. Her heart beats fast with adrenaline and the fear of being discovered. With both samples in hand, Layla meets Christina again. They send the samples to a private laboratory, anxiously awaiting the results. The wait is agonizing. Each day seems like an eternity. Layla feels a constant knot in her stomach, her mind racing with possible scenarios. While awaiting the results, Layla continues her visits to the orphanage. Every encounter with Connor is a mixture of joy and pain. She feels even closer to him, but the uncertainty consumes her. At home, her relationship with Nathan becomes strained, although he doesn't understand the real reason. Layla tries to hide it, but the pressure is immense. Christina stays in constant contact, offering support and words of encouragement. We're almost there, Layla. We'll soon know the truth, and then you can decide what to do. Layla hangs on to those words, trying to stay calm. Finally, the day arrives. The lab sends the results, and Layla feels a wave of panic and relief at the same time. With shaking hands, she opens the envelope, eyes darting over the lines of text. Her heart beats wildly as she reads the result. Layla feels the ground disappear beneath her feet as she reads the DNA test results. The words seem to dance before her eyes. Genetic compatibility confirmed. Connor is Nathan's biological son. She feels overwhelmed by a wave of emotions: shock, sadness, anger, and a deep sense of betrayal. The air around her feels thick, difficult to breathe. Tears silently stream down her face as she faces the harsh reality. The first person Layla turns to is Christina. They meet at their usual cafe, and, without saying a word, Layla hands Christina the envelope. The friend reads the results and, when she looks up, she finds Layla's teary eyes. Christina holds Layla's hand tightly, offering silent comfort, but Layla knows there are no words that can ease the pain she feels. "You need to talk to Nathan," Christina says, her voice firm but full of compassion. Layla nods, knowing she can't delay the inevitable confrontation. She needs to understand how this happened and, more importantly, how to move forward. That night, Layla waits for Nathan to get home from work. Every minute feels like an eternity, your heart beating wildly. When he finally walks through the door, she tries to maintain her composure, but her hands are shaking and her voice is choked with emotion. Nathan, we need to talk," she says, her voice firm but shaky. He immediately realizes something is wrong and sits down next to her, worried. Layla takes a deep breath, holding the envelope with the DNA test results. "I did something I needed to do," she begins, feeling the tears threaten again. "Do you remember Connor, the boy from the orphanage? He looks so much like you, Nathan. I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I took a DNA test. And the results show that he's your son." Nathan seems to freeze, shock written all over his face. What? "Layla, this can't be true," he mutters, taking the envelope with shaking hands. He reads the results, horror growing in her eyes. I don't know how this could have happened." Layla's anger, contained for so long, finally explodes. How do you not know, Nathan? How can you not remember? You have a son, and I only found out about it now, through a DNA test. Do you have any idea how much this hurts me? I feel betrayed, deceived. Nathan tries to hold Layla's hand, but she pulls away, pain reflected in every movement. Layla, I swear I didn't know. I don't remember anything that could have led to this. Please believe me. She shakes her head, tears flowing freely now. How can I believe you, Nathan? How can I trust you after this? Everything I thought I knew about our marriage, about you, is now in doubt. I look at Connor and I see you, and it destroys me. Nathan stands up, pacing the room like a caged animal. I need to understand this, Layla. I need to find out the truth. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose everything we've built. Layla feels a mixture of pain and compassion. Part of her wants to believe Nathan, wants to forgive him, but the other part is deeply hurt. I don't know how to move forward, Nathan. All I know is that now we have to deal with this reality. Connor is his son, and he deserves to know the truth too. Nathan turns to Layla, the pain clear in her eyes. I'll do whatever it takes, Layla. I want to make this right. I want to be honest with you and Connor. I don't know how, but we'll find a way. Layla stares at Nathan, the weight of the truth on her shoulders almost unbearable. The room feels small, suffocating, and the air thick with tension. The words she needs to say are like sharp knives, ready to cut deep. Nathan, she begins, voice shaking with the intensity of her emotions. There is something else you need to know. Connor was conceived during a time that should have been a time of mourning for us. It was during the time we lost our son. Nathan looks at her, shocked and stunned. Layla, I didn't. I had no idea. This can't be true, he murmurs, but Layla can see the confusion and pain forming in her eyes. She continues, unable to contain her tears. While I was broken, crying over the loss of our baby, you were with someone else. How could you do this to me? How could you betray our marriage in such a cruel way? Nathan tries to get closer, but Layla backs away, raising a hand to stop him. No. I need to understand. I need you to explain to me how this happened. Because for me it destroys everything I believed in. Nathan runs his hands through his hair, desperate. Layla, I swear, I don't know how this happened. I was as lost as you were, so devastated. I don't remember cheating on you, being with anyone else. Layla feels a wave of anger and pain. How can you not remember something like that? You have a son, Nathan. A son who was conceived while I was grieving the loss of ours. That's something you just don't forget. Nathan falls to his knees, tears streaming down his face. I'm so sorry, Layla. I'm so sorry for everything. I never wanted to hurt you. I never wanted things to come to this. Please believe me, I would do anything to change that. Layla feels a mixture of compassion and anger. Seeing Nathan so vulnerable only increases her pain. How can I believe you now, Nathan? How can I trust someone who betrayed me in such a profound way? Our marriage was built on trust and loyalty, and now it all seems like a lie. Nathan looks at her, the desperation evident in her gaze. I will do whatever it takes to earn your trust back, Layla. I can't change the past, but I can fight for our future. Please give me a chance. Layla feels a whirlwind of emotions. She remembers Connor, his smile, his similarities to Nathan. She remembers the love she shared with Nathan, the moments of happiness and pain. The foundation of her marriage is shaken, but there is still a ray of hope that she desperately clings to. This isn't just about the two of us, Nathan. It's about Connor too. He deserves to know the truth. He deserves to have a father who is present and responsible. But I need time. I need to understand how to move forward, if that is possible. Nathan nods, tears flowing freely. I understand, Layla. I will be here, waiting, doing whatever it takes to prove that I am still worthy of your love and trust. I will not give up on us. Layla feels a small spark of hope mixed with crushing pain. The path ahead seems uncertain and full of obstacles, but she knows she needs to find a way to face this new reality. Layla feels that life has taken an unexpected turn, leaving her at a painful and confusing crossroads. Every happy memory with Nathan is now stained with doubt and the pain of betrayal. She wonders if she will ever be able to forgive Nathan, if she will ever be able to trust him again. In the midst of this turmoil, Connor's thinking stands out. The innocent child who unknowingly became the center of an emotional maelstrom. Layla feels a protective instinct growing within her, a need to ensure that, regardless of the circumstances of his birth, Connor knows he is loved and wanted. Layla takes a deep breath, feeling the intensity of her emotions, and decides she needs time alone to process everything. She says goodbye to Nathan, making it clear that as much as she still loves him, she needs space to find her own path. Nathan, I don't know what the future holds, she says, her voice breaking. But I know we need to be strong for Connor. And that starts with truth and responsibility. We'll deal with this together, but right now, I need time to understand all of this. Nathan nods, respecting Layla's request. I'll be here, Layla. And I'll do whatever it takes to show you that we can still have a future together. I love you and I always will. Layla is immersed in a whirlwind of emotions. The discovery of Nathan's betrayal has left her torn, but the love she still feels for him continues to complicate her decisions. Sleepless nights are filled with questions without clear answers, as Layla finds herself faced with an impossible choice: continue with a marriage marked by betrayal or move forward, facing the unknown. With every glance at Nathan, Layla sees not only the man who betrayed her, but also the partner with whom she shared so many precious moments. Memories of their shared love haunt her, mixing with pain and disappointment. She wonders if there is still room for forgiveness in her heart, if it is possible to rebuild the broken trust. Determined to seek answers that can help her better understand the situation, Layla begins her investigation into Connor's mother. She wonders who this woman was, what led her to leave Connor at the orphanage. Each piece of the emotional puzzle slowly falls into place as Layla delves deeper into the life of the one who gave birth to Nathan's son. Discovering the truth about Connor's mother hits her like a punch in the gut. The woman she investigated, hoping to find answers, is now an absent figure, a silent presence that echoes in the walls of her heart. Connor lost his mother the moment he entered the world, leaving him an orphan from his first breath of life. The news shakes Layla to the core. She feels guilty for digging too deep, for unearthing truths that now weigh like stones on her shoulders. Compassion for Connor grows within her, mixing with a burning desire to do what is right, to offer him a home full of love and security. But the decision to adopt Connor doesn't come without its own doubts and fears. Layla wonders if she's ready to make such a deep commitment, if she can open her heart again to love a child who isn't biologically hers. Her love for Nathan, now tainted by betrayal, adds a layer of complexity to her dilemma. Every thought about adopting Connor leads her to relive her own losses, her own emotional struggles. She remembers the dreams she shared with Nathan, the plans for a future together that now seem shattered. The pain of betrayal is still there, making each decision feel like an uncertain step into unknown terrain. However, the growing bond between her and Connor cannot be ignored. Layla sees in him not just Nathan's shadow, but a child in desperate need of love and guidance. She wonders if she can be for Connor what her mother never had the chance to be: a safe haven amid the storms of life. Layla has been in emotional turmoil since she discovered Nathan's betrayal and the truth about Connor. Nathan's words still echo in her mind, each promise of regret mixed with the pain of disappointment. She finds herself torn between the anger she feels and the love she still carries for him, a maze of emotions that seems to have no clear exit. Nathan, in turn, is desperate. He begs for Layla's forgiveness, with words brimming with remorse and promises of change. He admits his mistakes, recognizing the depth of the damage he caused not only to Layla, but also to the fragile foundation of trust that supported their marriage. Every gesture, every pleading look is a reflection of the pain he feels for the pain he inflicted. Layla finds herself faced with a gut-wrenching choice. She wants to believe Nathan's words, wants to find a path of forgiveness and healing for both of them. But the path forward seems shrouded in shadows of distrust and uncertainty. She wonders if she will be able to forgive completely, if she will ever be able to look at Nathan without seeing the shadow of betrayal. Christina's suggestion about couples therapy appears as a lifeline in the midst of the emotional storm. Layla ponders this, seeing therapy not only as an opportunity to resolve conflicts between them, but also as a safe space to explore her own emotional wounds. She wonders if she can learn to trust again, if she can find a way to reconcile the love she still feels for Nathan with the pain he caused. The idea of couples therapy brings with it a mix of hope and fear. Layla wonders if she will be able to open her heart again, to allow herself to be vulnerable in front of Nathan without fearing further hurt. She knows that the path towards reconstruction will not be easy, but she is willing to try, driven by the desire to find a way out of the emotional labyrinth in which she finds herself. As Layla considers this possibility, she looks at Nathan with new eyes. She sees in him not only the man who betrayed her, but also the partner who shared so many precious moments over the years. She remembers the laughter, the tears shared, the promises made in the heat of love. And in the midst of it all, she wonders if there is still room for forgiveness in her wounded heart. Nathan, in turn, is willing to do anything to regain Layla's trust. He accepts the suggestion of couples therapy as an opportunity to confront his own emotional fears, to learn how to be a better partner to Layla. Each step towards reconciliation is marked by the determination to prove his love, to show Layla that he is willing to change, to grow, to be the man she deserves. Couples therapy becomes a space of vulnerability and healing for both partners. Layla and Nathan share their deepest pains, their most sincere hopes. They confront the ghosts of the past, the unmet expectations, the old wounds that still bleed. But they also discover a path to mutual understanding, to rebuilding bonds that have been stretched to the limit. Each therapy session brings with it a new thread of hope. Layla and Nathan learn to communicate their needs in a more honest and open way. They explore the complexity of their emotions, finding common ground where they can begin to build a future together. Christina becomes not just a friend, but a guide on this path of self-discovery. As couples therapy continues, Layla and Nathan face challenges and breakthroughs. They learn to trust again, not just each other, but themselves as well. Each small emotional victory is a light at the end of the dark tunnel they went through together. They recognize that forgiveness is a process, not a destination, and they are willing to walk this path together, step by step. Between tears and smiles, Layla and Nathan find a new balance. With Layla's approval, Nathan decides to assume his role as a father and decides to take on Connor as his son, since he is his legitimate son and does not need to go through the adoption process. They have learned to accept Connor as part of their lives, opening their hearts to a future that now seems promising despite the emotional scars of the past. In the midst of the procedures to legalize Connor as their legitimate son, Layla and Nathan discover that Connor has a twin brother in another orphanage, and this brings a new challenge to their lives. Layla and Nathan face external criticism and internal doubts as they navigate the legal and emotional complexities of taking on two children at once. They support each other, finding strength in the unity they are rebuilding every step of the way. They witness stories of neglect and lost hope, reflecting on the privilege of being able to provide a safe home for Connor and his brother. They learn to look beyond their own needs and desires, embracing the commitment of being fathers to boys who desperately need unconditional love. Every moment shared between Layla, Nathan, Connor and his twin brother is a reminder of the power of love and human resilience. They know the road ahead will be challenging, but they are determined to face it together, with open hearts and receptive minds. The story of Layla, Nathan and their potential children is a testament to hope, perseverance and love's infinite capacity to heal and unite. Tell me in the comments what you would have done in Layla's place. Would he have forgiven Nathan and adopted Connor and his brother as his children? Stay now with another exciting story.